can you prepare your child and yourself for the upcoming school year after all the mess of last year? We're going to briefly talk about that in today's video. Hey guys, and welcome back to God's Word Made Simple by Simple Servant Ministries. My name is Aaron Hawk, and if this is your first time visiting with us, I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us today. God's Word Made Simple is an online discipleship ministry dedicated to taking God's Word and making it simple. We want to help you understand God's Word, apply it to your life, and grow in your relationship with the Lord. Also, if you appreciate this ministry and content, at some point make sure and hit that subscribe button, turn that bell notification to all so you don't miss any future videos. We would love to have you as part of our family. Okay guys, welcome back. So today we are going to do what I believe to be a very short video, for me anyway, on how to prepare yourself and ultimately your child and yourself for the upcoming school year, because this video should be coming out probably on August the 3rd, so you're probably right in the midst of, oh, it's time for school to start again. So I wanted to try and provide something to help, but a short video, one, just because I could talk about this for hours and nobody would watch it. But two, you've got a lot going on right now, so I just want to provide a nugget to help you. And before I get into this, let me just say, to a degree, this is no different than the way that you should prepare for every school year and all of life. But I think it's especially important this year. So I have three things that I want to talk with you about. Number one, you need to set goals, and they need to be SMART goals. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't just go, oh yeah, it needs to be a goal that's SMART. No. I mean, as in an acrostic, so or acronym. I'm going to put it right here. Check out my video from January where I talked about SMART goals. Make sure that it is a SMART goal, that it fits that criteria. You need to make goals for your child and your life for this year. And you really should do this every year, but especially this year because the pandemic just threw all the normal stuff out the window. So you need to make goals, make them fit that SMART criteria, and recognize that because of the pandemic, your child is probably behind of where they really ought to be for this school year. So your child is going to need some extra support in terms of the academics for this year, which means you need to budget the extra time either to help them with their academics or the time and or money involved in hiring somebody to help them. And by the way, there are lots of good resources on YouTube as well, but obviously you need to moderate that. But you need to make goals, and one of those needs to be budgeting time to help your student academically more than you would even on a normal year, because truthfully, the pandemic really affected about 1.5 years worth of education. So teachers did the best that they could. My mom retired as a teacher. I can't even imagine how hard it has been for teachers this year. I have many of them that are my friends. It's been a hard 1.5 years, and they have done the best that they can, but they can't magically make up for all of the deficits that the last 1.5 years have brought. See, we talk about it as if it's a year, but academically it's been 1.5 years that has been affected because it was the tail end of 2 academic years ago, plus an entire academic year this past year. They can't magically make up for all the deficits. Kids do not learn remotely very well, especially the younger children, but children in general just don't learn very well remotely. We were created to learn in person. Not that it can't be done the other way, but also the quality hasn't been there because it's hard managing all those things, and kids are distracted and doing other things, and family life, and some parents had to have their kids with them at work, and the kid's trying to be on a tablet but mommy's at work or daddy and whatever. You need to prepare extra time this coming year for your child's academics. All right, number two, you need to recognize that culture has shifted, majorly shifted this year. not just the culture of education, but American culture. And you need to prepare yourself and your child for those differences in culture. And frankly, you need to stand up for what you believe in. If the school is teaching things that are directly related to some of the nonsense from this past year, and I'm purposely leaving that generic because there's no way that I can get into that without making this a long video. But if the school is teaching things that you don't agree with, you need to make your voice heard. Because this is your child's thought process and future that you're talking about. So don't just pass it off like, okay, this will blow over. I'll let them have their fun for a little while. That's the reason this insanity has been allowed to persist, is because good people, the only thing needed, the old quote, the only thing needed for evil to thrive is for good people to do nothing, something like that. You can correct me in the comments if you want on that quote, but it's a famous quote for a reason, because it's true. Evil exists in the human sense of evil. Evil exists because good people do nothing. Same thing in the schools. If the schools are catering to certain people because they're afraid of lawsuits, the only way they're going to stop is if you speak up and potentially even have to do the same thing. Because this is your child's life. This is their future. And the very fabric of the way that they think is going to be affected if their head is being filled with the garbage from this last year. And I'm just going to say one of them explicitly. Critical race theory, I'm looking at you. I want so bad to get into that, but that's a tremendously long series of videos that I would need to do to address that one. All right. The next thing is you need to be, along with your goals, budgeting extra time this year for your child's quiet time and to grow their faith. Maybe they don't believe in Jesus yet. That's okay. Children often don't, beyond simply, my mom takes me to church and I agree with whatever mommy says. Children typically don't have genuine faith. So if we're talking about younger versus older children, it's going to be a little bit different. But either way, you need to take extra time to disciple. Maybe that's the better way to word it. To disciple your children this year, which means you need to budget extra time to read the Bible to them and or have them read the Bible with you. And if you haven't been doing that previously, this is a good time to start. But they need that time extra this year. And they need to be taught how to pray, and you've got to lead by example. Children aren't going to follow your faith if your faith is bankrupt and you're not living it out. And this year of all years, they're going to need it because life has been completely turned upside down. I mean, one of my children is almost 7 years old. A year and a half of his life has been spent with the pandemic as being what he understands as normal. That is a significant portion of a 7-year-old's life, and he's not even 7 yet. My 3-year-old, half of her life has existed amidst the pandemic. The older they are, the more that they'll understand what normal, if you can even call anything normal, looked like. But they're going to need extra time to grow in the Lord. And hopefully you were smart and you took advantage of the time during the pandemic to do that. But if not, they're going to need it this coming academic year. So guys, I could literally talk for hours and hours, but nobody watches the long videos when I put them on. I want to make sure that you are able to understand and digest what I'm saying. So we're going to end it here. Quick recap though. SMART goals, one of which means extra academic time. The extra means extra quiet time, extra time to disciple and grow their little faith. Number 2, changing culture. And 3, an emphasis on discipling your child. Those are the 3 things that you need to do for your child to be successful in this upcoming academic year. As a parent, you are responsible for their education, not the school. Biblically, you are responsible for their education. So if you use the school as a tool for their general education, you're still responsible for all the rest. The teachers only have them for a handful of hours a day, and I know parents, some of you feel that you have them even less. But it is ultimately your responsibility to work with your child and ensure that they grow into maturity. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you appreciate this ministry and content, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, turn that bell notification to all so you don't miss any future videos. We'd love to have you as part of our family. And if you want to support this ministry, the two best ways to do that, number one is to hit that share button and share this video and the others on all social media platforms that you have. Please be our ambassador and help us influence the world for Christ. And then second, if you do want to support this ministry financially, we are a nonprofit ministry, which means all gifts are tax deductible. So there is a link down in the description. There are some financial needs that we would love to have your help with if you feel so led. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much, and God bless.